Have you ever found yourself in a relationship you never wanted in the first place, yet ended up being the most devastated when it ended? That was my reality with Devin, a man who was as enigmatic as he was toxic. A spiritual entanglement that left me more bruised than I ever anticipated. It all started innocently enough. I first met Devin at a bookstore in Flint, MI, where he worked. My spiritual advisor had introduced us, and from the very first encounter, Devin stood out. He was a tall, chocolate-skinned man with striking, almond-shaped brown eyes, and a unique style that combined the scholarly aura of a nerd with a captivating sexiness. He was unlike anyone I had ever encountered before. Devin's job at the bookstore became my favorite escape. It was where I found solace while working on my projects. Devin would often join me during his breaks, offering fresh ideas and engaging in stimulating conversations about entrepreneurship and spirituality. Our discussions were intellectually invigorating, and his presence quickly became a comforting constant in my life. Although I wasn't seeking a relationship, I couldn't deny that I felt a deep connection with him. Despite my focus on school and my future, Devin's charm was hard to ignore. Our friendship evolved into something more. He would spend time at my place, sometimes staying overnight, and I even introduced him to my family. His presence became a staple in my life, and though I never intended for it to turn into a romantic relationship, I found myself growing closer to him. However, as our connection deepened, I began to notice troubling patterns. Devin's behavior began to echo a manipulation tactic, known as love bombing. He overwhelmed me with affection and gifts, but there was a darker undertone. When I expressed my reluctance to commit, his demeanor shifted. He became passive-aggressive, using subtle manipulations to make me feel guilty for not reciprocating his feelings. He'd leave his belongings at my place, marking his territory in a way that made me increasingly uncomfortable. Though I was unsettled by these behaviors, my friends dismissed my concerns, assuring me that I was simply overthinking. According to them, Devin was a good man, and I should appreciate his affection. I wanted to believe them, but the nagging feeling that something was off never left me. The situation escalated when our intimacy deepened. It wasn't something I wanted to pursue at that moment, but I felt pressured by the emotional weight of our relationship. The night we became physically intimate was a turning point. I vividly remember seeing Devin's dark figure leaving my room afterward, a sight that seemed to shift something profound within me. It was as though a spiritual veil had been torn, and I was left grappling with a newfound sense of loss and confusion. From that night on, our bond became unbreakable, but not in a healthy way. We created a powerful soul tie that I couldn't sever, despite the mounting signs from the universe urging me to escape. My sense of safety and comfort was replaced by depression. My health deteriorated. I experienced repeated hospital visits for ruptured cysts and twisted ovaries. A particularly harrowing night, I faced suicidal thoughts only to have a deer slam into my car on my way home from work. The accident was a wake-up call, a visceral reminder that I needed to remove myself from the toxic situation. With a heavy heart, I mustered the strength to end the relationship. The process was painful and draining, but I knew it was necessary for my well-being. For months, I tried to heal and rebuild my life, attempting to restore the peace that Devin had disrupted. Yet as time passed, Devin reappeared in my life. He reached out with an apology, expressing a desire to meet up. Despite my better judgment, I agreed. I was still grappling with my intuition and questioning whether I had made a mistake by ending things. Maybe there was something I had missed, something worth reconsidering. Valentine's Day had come and gone, and Devin showed up at my house with a sense of earnest nostalgia. We reminisced about the past, and the evening felt surprisingly sweet. The warmth of his presence was a stark contrast to the coldness of our last encounter. At one point, Devin asked me a question that seemed to hold deeper meaning. If I were to propose to you, would you marry me? His words felt like a proposal, a chance to rekindle what we once had. My heart swelled with hope. Despite our tumultuous history, the idea of a future with Devin seemed plausible. I believed that our repeated reconnections were a sign that we were meant to be together. With a hopeful heart, I said, yes, I would. But Devin's response was a cruel twist. He revealed that he had only asked the question to gauge my reaction. In reality, he had already decided that we were not a good match. To my shock and dismay, He admitted that he was interested in seeing other people, including the man he had celebrated Valentine's Day with, someone he had met while we were apart. The revelation was like a punch to the gut. Devin's words shattered my fragile hopes and dreams. His actions were a stark reminder of the manipulation and deceit I had endured. The emotional turmoil of being led to believe in a potential future with him, only to be discarded again, left me feeling betrayed and heartbroken. The days that followed were a blur of emotional upheaval. I questioned my own judgment and wondered if I had been blinded by the allure of Devin's charm. The trauma of the relationship and its abrupt end made me doubt my own perceptions. How could I have been so wrong about someone who seemed to understand me so well? In the midst of the chaos, I found solace in seeking clarity. I revisited my own spiritual practices and engaged in deep introspection. I realized that Devin's return had served as a final, harsh lesson. It was a reminder of my own strength and resilience. His presence, though painful, had ultimately guided me toward a deeper understanding of myself and what I deserved in a relationship. As time passed, I began to heal from the wounds Devin had inflicted. I learned to trust my intuition and set boundaries that protected my well-being. The experience, though painful, became a catalyst for personal growth and self-discovery. I emerged from the ordeal stronger and more self-aware, ready to embrace a future where I valued myself above all else. In the end, Devin's return was not a chance for reconciliation, but a final confirmation of my decision to move on. His departure from my life, though filled with emotional drama and uncertainty, was a crucial step in my journey toward finding true love and inner peace. And while the story of Devin remains a chapter of heartache and lessons learned, it is also a testament to my resilience and capacity to overcome even the most toxic of encounters.